What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Rookies of the Year. Obviously, I'm here to host a new member to our team. Everybody, welcome Bennett.
What up, y'all?
Move it over
How
to
y'all
Bennett
doing?
so he can introduce himself.
What's up, y'all? I'm Bennett. I'm new here. Happy to be here. My boy Rob. You know what I'm saying? Going to talk about a little bit of everything today, hopefully, and get into all that good stuff, man.
Yeah, bro, it's going to be a lot of welcome to the team. Guys, we had a busy weekend in sports. Obviously, a lot of football going on, a lot of basketball going on. And I mean, if you missed it, you must have been living rock. Game 7 of the World, maybe the best baseball game I've ever seen. I'm not. That shit was insane. We're gonna jump straight into Dodgers get the 5-4 win over the Blue Jays. They were trailing 3-0. Early in the game, down inning, there's then last 2 outs. Miguel Rojas, last guy in the lineup you would expect. Miguel Rojas smacks a home, ties the game. Both teams, they put 2 runners on, they load up the bases. The pitchers just keep getting out of it. I don't know what was happening. It was the craziest game ever. They bring Yamamoto in 24 hours after he throws these 6 pitches in a start. I don't know, his arm didn't fall off, but here we are. He wins World Series MVP. Bennett, what are your thoughts on this game? Craziest game I've ever seen.
Dude, it was definitely Toronto's game to lose. They had it there literally until the very end, bro, and then just like you said, the one guy you least expect shows up when you need him most and ties the game up, and then there you go. You got a guy named Will Smith comes in and finishes it out for them. It's just insane.
All right, guys. Pardon my internet. You lost me a little bit, but I'm here. I'm back. So, crazy ending to the season. Already thinking about the next season. Actually, this is one thing that I was going to bring up as Destino mentions it in the chat. What do you guys think about a salary cap in baseball? I'm 100% on board with the idea.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of long overdue. But it's not just a cap. They definitely need a floor too. Because it's not just that. Obviously, you see the Dodgers are spending a ton of money. The Mets, the Yankees, the Cubs, sometimes the Red Sox, teams like that, they spend a ton of money. But it's the teams at the bottom that are ruining it. The Pirates, the Rays, the White Sox, the Rockies. These teams that are just not willing to spend anything. Money, you're not going to compete for the most part unless you just have an amazing farm system like we've seen with Tampa. Yeah. Like we've seen with Tampa for a long time. The Rays, they never spend money, but they just somehow build good teams through the draft. But once those players are established, what do? They let them walk
every time
because they don't want to spend any money. And that's why we have teams like the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees, the Cubs that are always dominating the headlines. They're always in the playoffs. They're always winning the divisions, except for this year. But I mean, that's just what it is. I
Yeah,
think
I'm definitely
it's
with you
pretty
on that,
inevitable
bro.
that that's where we're headed. After next season, we're certainly going to get a lockout. And if that lockout doesn't end with a new salary cap system in place, I would be absolutely shocked. But that's just kind of where we're at with that.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I
Go
think
ahead, bro.
you got teams like the Dodgers who are just they're willing to pay every single guy who comes their way, and it's no problem for them. And then you got teams like you said, like the Rockies and stuff, who just refuse to be competitive any year, in and out. And I think a salary cap is good in both ways, but like you said, there has to be a floor as well. You got to pay guys. Everybody's got to be competitive, man.
Yeah, I think that's where we're headed. Hopefully, it's just a matter of time. After the Dodgers probably win third in a row next year.
They are the betting favorites right now to go.
Then we're going to be at
3P.
There's no way the MLB is not going to do a lockout. There's no way that the MLB doesn't go into a lockout after the 2026 season.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll be back. We'll be better. Hopefully the Yankees can reel off some championships. Hell yeah, man. Dustino with the shout out. We just hit 1,000 subscribers here on the Pop Sports Network, guys.
Let's go.
Tuning in. Thank everybody that is subscribed. Show.
Yeah, shout out been around, bro.
It's here in the chat every Monday. Keeping us in. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. 1,000, 2,000 next. We're on the rise. As for the MLB offseason, what do you want to see the Red Sox do? So you're a Red Sox fan. What moves do you want to see the Red Sox make in the offseason?
Man, I'm trying to see another guy added to the rotation. I think, we've got our 2-3 top guys. I definitely think, you took a chance on Bueller this year, doesn't pan out, and, you just you're left, wanting more. Crochet, the War Pig, did what he needed to do. You brought him in to be that guy, but he needs help. I think we get rid of Duran. Duran has to go in a trade. Not sure what the trade looks like, what you get back, but that outfield is stacked. Now you've got 2 Gold Glovers out there, 1 back-to-back. You need a big bat. I think that's what we really need is a big bat, someone who just can come in clutch every time and just get it done. That's really what we missed, and I guess that was more apparent in the end with the Yankees when you don't have a guy like Devers to come in and play cleanup after everything. So that's where I'm feeling. Pitching, a slugger, and I think move Duran. I think, too many mistakes, especially in the postseason, bro. It's killing his game.
Yeah. And Duran's kind of a fan favorite a little bit over there with the Sox, but with all the new guys that have come up, especially Roman Anthony, now is definitely the time if you're going to make that move to move on. The Red Sox, obviously, is a team that I hate, but the Red Sox were really good this year.
Overachievers, bro. Overachievers. No one had us.
And if they could a lot better, especially not having Roman in the postseason. Yeah. I knew they would be competitive. I knew they'd be competitive, but I didn't think they'd be in the playoffs. So and then they pushed the Yankees to brook. They had us on the ropes. So shout out to the Red Sox. They had a great year. I think they have a great future ahead of them, as much as that pains me to say. But
yeah,
I agree. You guys
I put that Durant trade kind of like
could definitely use some more pitching.
That Durant trade would be similar to I mean, you can relate to this, the Marcus Smart trade. You know, probably the biggest fan favorite, one of the biggest fan favorites. You know, you hate to see him go, but what happens right after he leaves? You go, you get a chip, and you know, you see that in the end, it's all worth it. And I think something like that is what needs to happen for us to keep moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. And you're right, man. Once you get the championship, it makes it all worth it. Once you get the championship, you almost forget that guy even played for you.
Yeah. It's, you know, that's what you're playing for. You know, you're not playing for feelings, you're playing to win championships.
Although we still miss Marcus Smart over here. Honestly, it's full. Yeah. But it is a shame that we had to get rid of Smart, and now he's wearing that disgusting Laker yellow.
Yeah, you hate to see it, bro. You hate to see it. And you know, even
It
Drew
is what it
Holiday,
is.
have you seen that? He's balling over there in Portland.
As for my Yankees, I think there's some obvious glaring holes. I think we could definitely improve on that left side of the infield. That we could definitely use an upgrade at third base. I'll start there. Ryan McMahon, he's a good defensive guy. He has a little bit of pop in his bat, but I just think we need some more consistent offense. Shortstop, I'm done with Anthony Volpe. Like I couldn't be more done with Anthony Volpe. I don't even know what else to say. He was terrible in the postseason. He was terrible in the regular season. He's been pretty bad for most of his career so far. And if this is a team that's going to compete, especially in that window where you have Aaron Judge putting up these historic seasons year after year, and this is the one year that Judge finally showed up in the postseason. And what happened? None of his teammates were there. So, I mean, they got to upgrade in my opinion. So we got to do something about that. And after that, I think just add more arms. As we saw with the Dodgers here in the postseason, you can never have too much pitching. They had Yamamoto. They threw Snell. They threw every starter they had basically in Game 7. They just have arm after arm after arm. Or they put in over $1 billion worth of pick contracts. Games didn't have too many arms. So that's pretty much where I'm at, especially we shore up the pen. Garrett Cole is going to be back. We have Cole, Rodon, Schlittler, maybe Luis Hill. I'm feeling good about next year. But there's definitely some moves that to be made. So
yeah,
we'll see what
you guys are.
I don't have much faith in that he's. It's a shame that Aaron Boone is our manager because he should have been gone a long time ago. It is what it is. You could probably say the same about Brian Cashman, but he's still here. At least Cashman in the last few years, I feel like he's gone out and made some of the moves. Some of the moves just haven't. They haven't worked out. But at least he's out there actually spending the money. So as for Aaron Boone, I have nothing to defend him. He needs to go.
Yeah, you guys are definitely.
I guess that's enough.
Period.
Enough baseball. In the World Series, America loses, Dodgers win, and that's pretty much that on that. So now, you ready for some football, Ben?
Oh, you already know where we're starting, bro.
Your Patriots out there took a win yesterday over the Falcons. Drake May had another solid game.
MVP May, despite his flaws in that game. a fumble and an interception, but he still threw for 259, 2 tutties. I mean, it's elite. It's elite, man. The game was close. It was looking like a blowout there at first, but then to end the second half, Drake May just a bad
Yeah, I mean,
giveaway.
yeah, you guys played a solid game, albeit you're playing against the Falcons. I want to actually start with the Falcons here. This is the most inconsistent team I think I've ever seen. Then they hammer them. Then they lose 30-0 to the Panthers. Then you come back and beat the Commanders. Then you beat the Bills. And now they lost 3 games in a row. A blowout to the Dolphins. What is going on in Atlanta right now?
It has to be the coaching, bro. I don't think there's a direction there. It's just kind of like whatever sticks. You have elite guys basically at all your skill positions. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan, and even Penix, bro. Like, I just think, I don't know. There's no real direction they're going. They're real up and down.
I mean, I think much honestly, Drake London has been elite. John has been elite. Kyle Pitts has been solid this year. The quarterback play has just been a bit inconsistent.
Yeah, Penix, really got to put it together. He missed, was it last week? But even then, they didn't look good without him. So,
And yet, I mean, Penix actually had a solid game yesterday. He put up what 221, 3 touchdowns, no picks. You can't ask for Michael Penix. I mean,
yeah,
you just lose by 1 point on a missed extra point.
Yep. It's a little nasty.
It's a rough way to lose a game. You miss an extra point.
They should have gone for it on that at the end of the game. There was like a 4th and 20. They decided to punt it away, give it to the Pats, and that's when the Pats just iced the game on that pass to Hunter Henry there. Just bad decisions. At that point, the game's already lost. You're already down 1. Why not just go for it?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you got to play to win the game. Like you said, it's a couple minutes left. Your kicker already screwed you. You're down a point. At this point, you got to go for it. But they didn't. And now here we are. The Falcons with 3 losses in a row. They are 3-5. Looks like he's in.
Yeah, that's 6 in a row for the Pats. Drake May continues his MVP campaign. And, we here. We back. 5-year absence, and we back, baby. We back.
I can't say everyone's too happy about that, but here we are. The Pats are back. Finally, man. By the way, you guys are not winning a playoff game. I hope you know that. I tell Javi this every week. You guys are going to win the division. And you're going to lose in the first round. We've played the easiest I've seen in my life. I've never seen a played anyone.
Bro, it's all right, bro. This is what I like. I like when everybody's like, oh, y'all ain't going to do this. Y'all ain't going to do that.
out of those, play you guys again, the same thing is going to happen. We're going to beat you again in the second this year.
I just know you can't believe that, bro. If you saw that game, we
Speaking of the Steelers, they had a huge game yesterday against the AFC leading 7-1 Colts. Huge game. Most of the fan base, from what I've seen on our chances, I mean, that type of thing that the Steelers do, then they're going to come back. They're going to beat one of the top dogs in a game that you don't expect them to win. They're going to get that false hope back up, and then they're going to rip your fucking hearts right out at the end of the season. I see it every single year. I'm not falling for the gimmick anymore. It's a good win, but I'm not going to be too excited because I know once December comes around, we're probably going to fall apart. But we do have to enjoy it while it lasts. Another solid game from Aaron Rodgers. He only had 203 yards and a touchdown, but he didn't turn the ball over. And then the defense. The defense finally turns in a good performance. They forced 6 turnovers. They gave up 20 points. But a lot of those came in garbage up 4-7. Overall, later in the season, just a lack of a running game. The offensive line is not good. Jaylen Warren has not been able to get anything going so far this year. So,
what's up with Caleb Johnson, bro?
They know about the trade. We need a receiver too. We need a wide receiver too. You got guys like Chris Olave out there that are available. I just want to see this team make some more moves on offense. It's actually crazy to see, but I don't think it as intensively. They just got to put it together. And I think mostly that falls on Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin. But you know the Steelers organization. They're just old school. They don't like moving on from coaches. They're going to hold on to that bad apple for as long as they possibly can. So I just have to deal with Terrell Austin's terrible schemes. Just going to have to put up with Terrell Austin's terrible schemes, terrible coverages, terrible play calling until one day he's fired. But until then, we ride. Elsewhere in the we had the Chiefs and the Bills. Chiefs and the Bills, huge rematch. This has become one of the biggest rivalries. I mean, probably the biggest rivalry in the NFL. Chiefs, Bills, Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. Another edition. Bills get the Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season. Then they rematch in the playoffs, and the Chiefs win every single time. What were your thoughts on the game yesterday?
I definitely think Patrick Mahomes' play wasn't good. He's 50% under 50% completion. He did throw for 250, but what's that really worth? Their run game, bro. It's just not there for them. It doesn't matter who they throw in there. They love Kareem Hunt. Don't know why. Keep going back to him. The run game is not there. Josh Allen, though, 23 for 26 on pass attempts, 273 a touchdown. That's gonna get it done, bro. That's gonna get it done. This is like you said. This is how it always goes. The Bills win in the regular season. Playoffs come around, and we know who gets the better of them there. Big game. Do I see the Bills still being better than the Chiefs? Not really. The Chiefs bringing back all their guys, kind of. Rashee Rice, he gets that rushing touchdown. But other than that, it was a pretty solid game. It was the biggest game of the day, to be honest. And James Cook, man, he's got to really have a problem with Josh Allen always taking his touches there in the goal line. 114 yards, no tutty, but you give it up to Allen there. So I guess you kind of stay quiet and keep going and take the team win.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I wanted to talk about with Josh Allen. Have you seen the updated MVP odds? Somehow Josh Allen is the favorite.
The favorite.
I don't understand coming with. He has definitely not been the best quarterback. I don't even think he's been a top 3 quarterback this year. I mean, it's not really what you think. There's no argument that he's been a top 3 quarterback this year. You can't even argue that he has been.
Yeah. 15th in yards, but 14th in touchdowns.
Somehow we are here. He has mixed stats, and his team isn't even. But somehow I still. Where were you going?
Oh, what was that?
You were talking about his.
Yeah. Bro, 15th in passing yards, 14th in touchdowns, 11th in QBR. I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe, this last stretch of second half of the season is different for him. He had a great game yesterday, but as of right now, how could you be the favorite if you haven't been elite in any which way?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's not surprising to put up 150 yards and a touchdown somehow. That's just where we're at with Josh Allen. You could argue that he hasn't even been the MVP of his own team. James Cook is having a monster season. Almost 900 rushing yards through only 8 games. Then he has another 100 yards receiving. 967 yards, 8 total touchdowns for James Cook. No, 7 touchdowns. 967 yards, 7 touchdowns through 8 games. This is a potential offensive player of the year right here with James Cook. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is going to be the heavy favorite for offensive player of the year with the season he's been putting together. But James Cook has to be right there in that conversation. And you could argue he's been the Bills' best player so far this year. But of course, everybody's going to give all the credit to Josh Allen because they want us to think that he has no help and that he's carrying this team by himself.
He has help. I just don't. I think they're one of the teams here at the trade deadline that goes out and needs to go get a top level receiver, someone who can be there for Josh Allen. Because I mean, Keon Coleman, for as high of a prospect as he was, you're throwing the ball more to your tight end Dalton Kincaid in a big game. That's just it's gonna work here and there, but you take this guy and you expect him to be elite, and it's just not panning out. And if you want to go all the way, they're gonna have to go and get some help there for Josh Allen, because I mean, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Elijah Moore, those guys just I don't think they get you over the hump.
All right. So we had a Bears Bengals game yesterday. It's probably the game of the day, maybe the game of the year. I'm not sure if you caught any of it. The Bears give up 2 late touchdowns, go down by 1 point, and then they come back and score about 65 yards on a touchdown with 20 or 30 seconds left. Bengals get the ball back. They didn't have enough time to get any points on the board. Bears win. Final score 47-42. This has kind of just become a reoccurring theme with the Bengals. They put up 30, 40 points. The defense can't stop anybody. And you could see that they get, because this is the second year in a row you're averaging around 30 points a game, and you still can't win anything.
Yeah, and even then, this is all without your top guy, Joe Burrow. I mean, he's out because you can't protect him, so he can't stay safe. Your defense stinks. You've got basically all your funds tied into 2 or 3 guys, and that's just clearly not the way to win football games in the NFL. The Bears, I think, they surprised a lot of people this year, man. They're 5-3. Caleb Williams is really starting to put it all together. And yeah, I mean, you see it at the end there. I don't know if you caught any of the press conferences, but Chase Brown really digging into the defense, talking about, just finish the fucking game, just really, tearing at them. And then, you got Jamar Chase, your top guy, and he's kind of just like, I ain't going to say nothing because I don't want them to come after me. But even then, that's just things you can't have in the locker room, bro. Like, that just, it's going to tear the guys apart. But, they're not wrong. You put your team up, a couple minutes left, and you can't close the game out. That's not going to cut it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Bengals, I don't even know what you do at this point. I feel like the only way to get out of this situation on some defensive players, and they have tied all of their money to their offense. They got 2 receivers making $70 million between the 2 of them. And then you got Joe Burrow making, what, 55 million a year?
Yeah, I mean, you're having to go out and get
Got
guys that
all
just aren't up to the level.
this money in the offense. And then you nothing going in. That's Trey Henry. So I mean, if you're the Bengals, you go from a situation where these are two very winnable games. You beat the Steelers, you get the 3-4. You got games coming up against the Jets and the Bears. You're thinking we'll get to 5-4, and at that point, you can win the division.
Yeah,
Instead,
I
now they're
think
sitting at 3-6. It looks like the season. You said all of this happening without Joe Burrow. So
do you even bring Joe Burrow back when he's healthy? Is it even worth it anymore? The season's basically a loss now. You put him out there, he gets hurt again. What do you do then?
who do you AFC North? Who do you have coming out of the AFC North?
I think Lamar Jackson, bro. He's back. He looked good in that Thursday night game. Not a lot of running activity out of there. Uh, but I mean, if they can start really putting it all together now that they got Lamar back after what 4-week absence, I'm sure he'll find his MVP form and really rally the troops and get them over that hump there. And I think they're also another team that goes out at the trade deadline and tries to get better. I mean, you've seen in the NFC East, you got the Eagles really tooling up. I don't know if you've seen any of that. They go and get Dolphins Jalen Phillips, really adding to that defense, trying to solidify everything there. But yeah, I think the Ravens are really going to turn it around now. I mean, they're sitting at 3-5 right now, but uh, with Lamar back, Derrick Henry hasn't found his elite form yet. But once all that's going, bro, I think they're going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at as well. Um, Hoping the Steelers that the Ravens are going to come storming back. And now they have Lamar back. He looks great against Miami. Of course, it's Miami, but he still looked great. They hammered him. And they have a pretty favorable schedule coming up for the rest of the year. They've pretty much already played. Like they've already played the Chiefs. So a lot of that's out of them. Now they can just start wins no more than 2 games from here. Well, I think the Ravens are going to come back, win the division. The Steelers are probably.
Yeah, you guys will go back to being yourselves and just be average. Let the Ravens take over there. I mean, they've got the Vikings next week, the Browns, Jets, Bengals. They got Steelers twice, Bengals again, and then the Patriots. I mean, it's a pretty solid schedule there to close it out. They close out Patriots, Packers, Steelers. So I definitely think the race there will be interesting. Definitely at the end of the year for you guys.
So we had the Panthers, we had the Packers, the NFC leading Packers hosting the Carolina Panthers yesterday. Upset the Packers, give them their second loss of the season on a game-winning field goal, 49 yards. The Panthers now sit at 5-4, only a game and a half behind Tampa. You think Carolina can sneak into the playoffs?
I think they finally figured it out, bro. Give the ball to Rico Dowdle and just let him pound the rock over and over and over, and it's been working for them. I mean, I'd say this is the upset of the week. I mean, yeah, the Panthers were coming in pretty solid, not great, but Packers coming off a big win at home, and yeah, you lose it on a last-second field goal there, and all of a sudden, the Panthers are above 500 for the first time. I mean, who knows probably how long for them. It's been tough for them every year, but they've got something there in Rico Dowdle, and Bryce Young is just doing enough to keep getting these wins, bro. I think it's possible for them to sneak in if they keep up this good run of play. Anything's possible for them right now, bro. They're pretty much in control. They've got the Saints, Falcons, Niners, Rams. I mean, those are you've got some games there that you can definitely win.
Man, I think we're only halfway through the season and they've already hit 5 wins. And like you said, they have a lot of winnable games coming up, so they can keep stacking. This is a team that could actually be in the playoff race as we're, approaching the home stretch of this season. Who knows if the Bucks weakens it, it's only going to be a 1-game difference over there in the NFC South. And now that the Falcons have kind of spiraled out of control, they're out of the race. So it's really the Panthers as the second team in that NFC South if they're going to be able to steal a playoff spot.
I mean, it's like I said, it's there for them.
As for the Packers, that's a bad loss. Yeah, if you're the Panthers, you're looking up. You're only half game behind the Lions and the Bears. As for the Packers and the NFC, entering yesterday's games, with that loss, they've fallen all the way from 1-4. I mean, that's a bad loss. How do you view the Packers as contenders after a game like that?
I think they'll be all right. They've definitely shown they're shaky. They're not, they're not completely there yet. I think this is a loss that maybe hopefully they take it on the chin and get right back up and just keep going. They haven't been a bad team. It's only their second loss of the season. And sometimes during the year, bro, you gotta lose games like this to kind of give you a check, and it's all about how you respond from here and how they play. I mean, Jordan Love's been great. They have so many offensive weapons. I mean, just pick a guy, and they do lose Tucker Kraft though. They confirmed the ACL tear, so he's done for the year. That's a big blow there. But I think they'll be all right. Maybe they go out and get some help. But they're sitting good. They do drop a couple spots there, but still a lot of football left to play for them.
Do you think they still win the division? Or do you think that's the opening that the Lions needed? The Lions also lost yesterday to the Vikings. So they failed to take advantage of an opportunity there. It would have put them back in first place in the division, but they lost at home to the Vikings.
I mean, honestly, bro, the NFC North, it's tight all around there. I mean, you've got the Bears coming. Even the Vikings, they take that game yesterday against the Lions, and it kind of gives them another breath of air. I guess it's just going to depend on one, who can stay healthy, and two, who can just keep on winning games and not give up games like yesterday where the Packers. That's definitely one of those ones where you should have had it, and hopefully it doesn't come back to bite them on the ass. But yeah, NFC North that's tight all around, bro.
Yeah, man. And the Vikings, that's a win that the Vikings really needed, because they were sitting at you go on the road games coming up. They play the Ravens and the Bears. And then they're back on the road for the Packers and the Seahawks. Going down the stretch is kind of brutal. It's a very tough slate to get through. But they got the skill position players. Carth bit more than once has been able to show. Defense is still kind of there. Like you said, it was a dog fight. It's 6 teams that are within a game or two of each other.
Yeah, just going back to what you were saying about big win for the Vikings there. I think that's probably the biggest win there for JJ McCarthy, bro. He gets his confidence back.
One of the teams in that race last night. What's up? tonight. Well, Cowboys a 3.5 point favorite at home against the Cardinals. Cardinals, after winning their first 2 games of the season, have dropped 5 in a row. They look completely lost out there on both sides of the football. Cowboys, meanwhile, they have a very high-powered offense. They just can't seem to stop anybody. A lot like the Cincinnati Bengals. They're the Bengals of the NFC. But a big game tonight at home, Cardinals, and then they get a bye week next week. I mean, I feel like if you're the Cowboys, this is a must-win game. If you want to have any chance of making the postseason, you have to win tonight. If you lose this game, you fall to 3-5-1. At that point, you're chasing about 5 or 6 be an insurmountable deficit to overcome. So they got to go out and get the win tonight. I think they will win tonight. Defense, you never know. They could put up 30 points. Who do you think wins tonight?
I'm gonna go Cowboys on this one, bro. I think, like you said, definitely a must-win for them. I think they win here and they make a case there over to Jerry. Trade deadline's coming up. I keep bringing it up. All these teams, they need help. You're wasting some of Dak Prescott's best play. If you miss this chance, how many other chances are you gonna get? The defense, that's what really needs to help there. I think it's gonna be a shootout, though, bro. I don't see either one of these teams really having a defense. Hopefully, this isn't another boring Monday night game where everybody's thinking it's a shootout and we're having a field goal fest out there. But I'm hoping everybody goes out there gunslinging. I do have the Cowboys taking it. What was it, the 3.5 line there? That's pretty interesting there. Even the over under. What was it at? It was like 54, right?
Yeah, over under 54. Cowboys minus 3.5.
Yeah, I mean that over under. I mean they've got it as a shootout too. So
yeah, I kind of feel like every game with the Cowboys nowadays is a shootout. They're gonna put up a lot of points. We know they're gonna put up points. Dak can sling it. They got CD and George Pickens, arguably the best receiving game. Pickens, man, he is upset, and it really sucks to see. My Steelers could use a wide receiver too. Best wide receiver, we just gave them away. Who knows what reason? But I think I'll win by at least a touchdown, and it's probably going to go over 54. Take the over on every single Cowboys game.
yeah, bro, every time it does not fail. They're gonna hang 30 something on you, but you can probably hang it on them too. So.
Obviously, your team's looking good. Buyers, you should be buyers at least 7-2. You have a chance to take back that division crown from the Bills for the first time in a few years. Are there any moves that you want to see the Patriots make?
Yes, definitely. I think for as good as we've been playing, the O-line still needs another guy in there. I'm not sure who you go out and get, but the past 2 games, you let Myles Garrett get up in there 5 times, 5 sacks on the page on Drake May. And this game with the Falcons, they get to him there right before the half. Uh, for as good as we've been, the line needs help. And I think the defense, bro. I think we're looking for an edge guy. Uh, a Trey Hendrickson would be amazing, but Bengals want a first for that. So I think the price there is too steep. But even as being buyers, bro, they've already been sellers. They got rid of Keon White and Kyle Duggar over the weekend. Two guys who even last year were big prospects and, just didn't fit into the scheme. So I don't know, maybe making space for a big trade there, a bunch of 6th-round picks hanging in our pocket. That's what I'm seeing so far, man. Maybe some running back help. Not sure how long Stevenson's going to be out. Hopefully, it was just the 1 week. But a couple spots there to fill up, shore up the whole team, and keep going.
Yeah, bro. If you guys go out and make the right moves, I mean, I'm not, like I said earlier, I already said kind of what I think about the Pates. I mean, I just said the Pates. You guys are the Pates. You don't deserve to be called the Pates. Kind of what I think about. But, I do think you guys have played a very easy schedule, and I think that has definitely helped out with your record. But I think you guys are such a young team. So even though you've played an easy schedule, it's been able to, you guys have been able to build some continuity with the roster that you had. You've been able to work on some things. And even though you're not beating good teams, you're still good teams good. They beat, you take some of them, but you have to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And pick games that they lost, they Steelers, I can say myself 5 turnovers, but how often is that going to happen? We got thoroughly outplayed in that game, but we were still able to get the win. And then the first game of the season, you guys lose to the Raiders. That was so long ago. At this point, it doesn't even matter. But I'll give you guys credit where it's due. You've played really good so far. Drake May has looked like an MVP candidate. He should have, at the very least, he should be ahead of Josh Allen in that race. But
hey man, we're pushing that narrative. Drake May MVP.
It's a story for another time. But if you guys go out and make, I think I would still against you in the round. That's all I got to say about the Patriots. I feel like I said way too much about them already, honestly.
Starting to sound like a fan, bro.
And then as for my Steelers, I kind of already said what I relax, bro. Hold your horses. I'm a fan. You're out of your mind. As for my Steelers, I kind of already said what I think about them. I feel like we need to go out and get a wide receiver too. Maybe get some O-line help. Maybe you could go out and get a running back because Jaylen Warren just has not been it this year. But the thing is, if you go out and get a running back, but you still have no O-line to protect, then what good is that going to do for you? So I think the biggest moves, you get some O-line help. You go out and get a wide receiver too. Chris Olave, I'm looking right at you. Please, you need Chris Olave. I was on that Tyreek Hill train, but obviously, his knee said no. Jalen Waddle is another option. I wouldn't mind getting Jalen Waddle. Jacoby Myers. There's a lot of guys out there that are going to be available. And if the Steelers are actually thinking about contending this year, like if you say you want to compete this year, you have to go out and make this. Then it's the team to compete. But and then they leave. So that's enough of football. We'll talk some basketball now. The season is heating up. We're only 2 weeks in, but the NBA has been absolutely on fire. We've seen a lot of 40-point games. We've seen a few 50-point games. Didn't have a win yet. The Boston Celtics were able to put together some big wins. We did get blown out the other day by the Rockets, but that was on the second night of a back-to-back, so we'll kind of let it slide. What do you think? What do you think about our Celtics so far? You know, this is one thing that we can agree on.
Yeah, I think
we're both
bro,
Celtics fans. So
the theme right now up in Boston and the whole New England, bro, is teams are sneaky good. I think the Celtics, for as much as they don't have, they have a lot of young guys. A lot of pieces still haven't found their footing to get the season going. I know we were talking about Derek White the other day. Hasn't had the best start of the season, but on the other hand, you have Jaylen Brown, who's playing out of his mind. Besides maybe that Rockets game where we got blown out, but other than that, bro, I think it's a sneaky good team. Do I see us going far in the playoffs? Not really. Personally, I'm hoping not for a full tank, but maybe go get a guy like AJ or Boozer. Really take advantage of the off year, kind of like the Mavs last year. Obviously they traded their best guy, but you end up with probably one of the best prospects to come through in a while. Cooper Flag, you've got a couple things going there.
Yeah. I like what I've seen so far. I'm not gonna lie. After the 0-3 I think this season, this upcoming draft class in the NBA. If we lose a bunch of games, I'm in tank mode. Once we reel off a few wins, I'm back on the train of let's push for a playoff spot. We'll get Tatum back. We can go out and make some moves. I feel like really obviously the biggest glaring hole has been the big man spot. Walker Kessler. That's probably the main guy that I would want, honestly, is Walker Kessler. That'll just elevate everyone around him. Like Derek White has had a really poor start to the season. We got Josh Minnow, who hasn't had too good of a start. But those are the type of guys where if Tatum comes back playing at the level we expect him to play at, he will elevate everyone around him. And then Jaylen Brown, if he can just keep doing exactly what he's doing. We need, but if we get Tatum back, we get a big man, and everything's clicking. And
I personally would love to have Tatum back. But I am really against rushing him back if he doesn't need to be back. I mean, he's still young, but these are injuries where sure he might rehab everything, but after it's been so long, he's put so much wear and tear on his other side, and then you start to see other injuries show up as an effect of he's been compensating for having to he's been non-weight bearing on one leg. And you see all these little random injuries just start to show up, and they never really go away once the guy hasn't had the chance to fully recover, not just on the injury itself, but everything around it has to be shored up as well.
yeah, 100%. It's tricky because although it seems to alter your entire career, on even when he comes back, you're gonna have to be careful. Obviously, he's probably not going to be playing in back to backs anytime soon. It's going to be a slow process. It's going to be, honestly, for us fans, it's going to be very annoying just to have to deal with for probably a few weeks or a few months. But like you said, you want him to come back, but at the same time, you don't want him to potentially fuck up his entire career by coming back too early. So if we're gonna come back, but I mean, Jason Tatum, he's gonna want to be back on the court as soon as possible.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure if he felt all right, he would want to be out there right now. No questions there about him, but I think that's kind of where you kind of got to have the team step in and do what's good for him and good for the team long term. Especially right now where we're a team that we've got a lot of young guys. There's still some vets in there, still some championship guys. But this is a learning year. I think a year to see what we really got. Maybe retool next year when Tatum is back, and be just as good. And hopefully, I'm sure the new ownership wants to stay under the luxury tax. So uh, just find guys and see who fits. Maybe trade some guys there, be sellers, and just try to maximize what you can out of it.
And that's enough about the Celtics for this week. Um, I want to talk about the Orlando Magic. Rough, to say the least. The Hawks and the over the last few years. I mean, it's kind of shocking because the Magic's whole identity has been their defense. Obviously, you go out and make the moves. You get Desmond Bain in there for KCP. You trade KCP and Cole Anthony to get Desmond Bain. And then they signed Tyus Jones as well. But but you don't have to change your entire identity to have a better offense. And I feel like they kind of moved away from their defensive identity to try to speed up the pace of the games. And so far in the season, it's really costed them on defense. They're giving up. Offense is better. It's just not good enough for them to be able to keep up with how many points they're giving up. Been able to get right. They had some big wins, albeit against trash teams. But sometimes that's what you need. You need to play against some bad teams, and you need to get some obvious soon. You have any thoughts on the Magic?
I think the Magic are a team that a lot of fans had being, with the East being so open this year. No Tatum for the Celtics, no Halliburton for the Pacers. It was definitely a team that I think everybody thought could, be a top team there, but they just haven't lived up to that. Like you said, they've moved away from that defense, that scrappy team that they were last year. Is Desmond Bain looking like the right play there for them? Only time is going to tell on that. But yeah, you can only play who's on the schedule. So, all those easy teams, they've got to beat those guys. And then, they just got to fight and get some big wins there and keep it going. I think they're a team that, as much as I hate the Magic, I think they're a team that can be competing there for a playoff spot, maybe even, going all the way to the finals, which is a stretch, but definitely a team that has it and hungry, young, looking to prove themselves. So, if they can play with that chip on their shoulder and, really show that they want it and that this is, the year that they've been waiting for and the opportunity is there with an open East. Just got to put it all together. And, we're only 2 weeks in, so it's all overreaction. But you don't want to let stuff like this stick throughout the season.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people, including myself, thought this could be the year that the Magic really make that push and put themselves back into contention at one point in the year. So you're not always going to have that great start, especially when you're adding new pieces to really find your identity and get into that rhythm as a team for everything to start clicking. But you got a long season ahead of us. I still think they're going to be one of those teams that is contending in the East bar. I think the biggest thing really for them is just slow and they do it by controlling the pace. They play at their pace. They lock down on defense. In France that can make shots and give them just enough offense to be able to win these games. So I think they need to get back to that identity, at least for now, until you can really get that offense clicking. And then at that point, maybe you can try to speed it up. We got another big week in sports coming up. We got no baseball. For anyone that cares about MLB awards, we'll be giving out next week. Cy Young, MVP, Rookie of the Year, all of that. So next Monday, we'll be going over all of those, giving our predictions, who we think should win all of those. And that's pretty much.
Just want to throw in there real quick, bro. OKC, man. The only undefeated team left, with the Spurs losing yesterday to the Suns.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for off our new big three here on the Rookies of the Year.